Okay, so you're not going to believe it. Up at the ranch, it was so torrential, the rains, that, big, huge oak trees are blowing. It was like we had to close all the shutters, and it was like really, really intense. And so Alicia and I decided to leave early. And so I said I better follow you down because I was worried that her car might get stuck in high water. We might need to, help each other out. So as I'm following her down, it's just torrential, wind's blowing. We're driving down Vineyard Drive, and then all of a sudden, there's just this massive amount of trees, just probably 12 feet high, completely blocking the road. Like no way you'd even see through it. And so then we had to, all these people were stopped there. We had to turn around, go back another way. And I was going back the other way, and then I ran into another blockade coming out. So I couldn't get out. So all I can say is that it's time to get on the Ark. No, I'm dead serious. It's time to get on the Ark. I mean, 4 millennia ago, people did not get on the Ark, and they all perished. Everybody perished except for Noah's family. And right now, the Ark to get onto is Jesus Christ. It's the Ark of salvation that is the power of the risen God. The Ark in the beginning was for those who were willing to walk in faith and trust God. They didn't trust God through his servant Noah. And now today, and we have all the prophets, we don't have people trusting God. It's like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, I'll trust in God, and yeah, I want to go. I don't want to die in this flood, or I don't want to die and go to hell, or I don't want to die and be finished off. But right now, it's time to get on the Ark, and the Ark is salvation in Jesus Christ. And so it's no more messing around. It's no more, sandbox Christianity. It's no more time for pretending to, I'm a churchgoer. It is time to give up our sin and get into Christ. Because if we're going to church and we're singing the songs, and we're singing the songs about how we praise Jesus and we love him, great, that's great. But if we're living in sin and we're not following him in his commands, first and foremost, living a life of sin, then we're absolute hypocrites. And I've been there. I was there for decades, where I was living in sin, claiming Jesus, and I'd go to church and I'd sing the songs, but it wasn't a connection it wasn't on the Ark. I wasn't in the salvation of Christ. I was simply making up my own beliefs and living a story that I was writing. It wasn't God's story. God's story didn't include me at that point. So it's time to get on the Ark, and it's really, really time. It's not, it's pouring rain here in California. It's torrential rains. We're not gonna all die in a flood. God promised us that wouldn't happen. But time is short, and Jesus is coming back. And when he comes back, it's like a flood, but it won't be water. It'll be with fire. And if we really are believing that Christ is who he said he was, he said he would come back. He said through John and the other prophets, he would come back with a sword. And he's going to come back to judge us. So we need to look at Matthew 7. We need to look at different places in the Bible where it says not everybody who claims to be his are his. And so we need to examine our own hearts. We need to examine our lives. We need to, I need to examine my own heart, examine my own life, and really look at, am I following Christ? Or am I living in hypocrisy, writing my own story? So right now in California, revival is happening. This is the state where revivals have started. This is where so many good ministries have started, and so many movements have happened. Imperfect movements, but the movement of the Holy Spirit and people getting truly transformed and moving into salvation, because it's a forward path of salvation. So I'm gonna leave it at that for right this moment. I'm going to come inside and take my gear off, but I have more to say.